What's up? It's your boy Daquan. So we're back in here. Feedback has been insane. You guys have been enjoying the builds. I'm glad that this thing has been able to help you guys out, especially for my Flak boys out here, because we have been under fire for a while. We're going to talk about flex options. All right. So this is what I consider to be part of the build. If you can literally just drag this over, and mind you, these actually preset. So let me do these real quick. Just gonna click some random ones. These are, I never, let me go and at least do this. So like if you can do this and you can swap your whole thing around, this is literally a flex option. This is flexible. You can be gamma burst, you can be fade away. You can actually do this in the middle of combat. As long as your skill actually isn't active, you can just swap it. So it literally takes 2-3 seconds to be able to do that. So I include that as a flex option, being able to go into this tree. Also, other flex option, since these guns and even these artifacts are going to be in your inventory anyway, there are going to be some guns that are going to be better at killing the bosses than the other ones. So I'm not exclusive to these 4 slots right here, because you can easily, in the middle of combat, just take one of these items and just swap it within a few seconds. So the thing that I like about this build setup is that it has variability, versatility, and has some build diversity inside of the own build. Something that Paul Sage would be proud of, all right? That's what we're trying to do out here. But we have options inside this build. So from now on, inside of my good old build videos, I'll be addressing flex options that are going to be working better in certain situations. I definitely didn't want the perception of these of some of these weapons or the weapon layouts to be that these are the only guns that you're going to be using, because that's just not the case at all. And I prefaced it in my videos before, but apparently I didn't address it well enough, because if there are a few individuals that are talking about, there's probably a good handful that aren't and do believe the same thing. So I'm glad that that perception was put on the table, so that way I can go ahead and address it and I can help you guys out as well. So we can get into this good old mix, and let's look at this good old build. So the items that we actually end up using for this good old gameplay gonna be these 4 right here, and I'll swap around to the last looter in a second. So this is the fire looter that we used. For the multiplier, we ended up using the unescapable sellout. As long as you're able to apply the ignite or whatever element to yourself, it works out pretty well. Fire is going to be your best element for killing Graveward, because he is all health. This is for the crit swap setup. This was for the elemental burn down setup. And the quick draw monocle, the monocle itself has a 500% multiplier, so that's why it works out really, really well with the Scourge, able to do tons of damage. You're also able to use the pistol that has a high crit multiplier, so that way you're able to go ahead and one-shot the boss in most situations. Also depends on what the enemy has, what the Graveward has. This is on the hardest difficulty. This is on True Vault Hunter mode, Mayhem 3, for this good old boss kill, so it is able to one-shot. And the last gun that we actually used for this good old display is the looter right here. Bad boy has a ton of damage, but you saw that the pacing wasn't really super duper good. It was okay, but it wasn't necessarily the best. But if you are able to roll normal positive modifiers, just having this inside your inventory so that way you're able to switch to it real quick and use it as a flex option and just mow down the enemy will help out quite a bit. You're able to just run through the targets, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat, rinse and repeat in your farming. So you are able to farm with this build setup, because I do include the other guns inside of the setup as options for the build. Most of the time your layout is going to look like this. You can have a good gamma burst gun that actually overlaps the boss killer slot. So you might actually only have 3 guns filling up this area, and you can have a 4th one that does whatever. We rock this one because it's the best gamma burst gun we have at the moment. Want to run a Fl4K? You can run an elemental version of this if you want to. Fire works out really, really well for most of the good old content. And then let's see. We have our hive hiding right in plain sight. So this is a normal 3-gun layout that you're going to end up having. Super good for mobbing, clearing through everything. You're going to need this if you want to end up beating out the Slaughter Shaft on Mayhem 3 True Vault Hunter mode. And then the 4th slot is basically your flex slot. You can play around with whatever you want. You can do the crit swapping with what I showed before. You can do the whole elemental setup and play around with that. So your 4th slot is going to be a flex slot where you're able to play around with the guns. And you have a whole inventory. I don't have any inventory right now because I'm hoarding stuff. But you have a whole inventory to play around with and play around with different flex options to go ahead and put forth the best damage that you can inside of your build setups. So I wanted to address why I did not use this good old flex option right here. So this is going to be your option if you want to do the most damage. And in some situations, you are going to want to go ahead and swap out Empathic Rage or Burst Aid inside of the harder content that you're not able to sustain through. And I did not swap to Empathic Rage for this video and clearing through these things because of our artifact right here. So this gives 31% more rifle damage, which has helped out the looters quite a bit. So I wanted the numbers to be a bit closer for you guys to go ahead and see. And I even could have probably taken this off, actually, now that I think about it, because this does nothing at all. But hey, I digress. Yeah, so you have options inside this build. I still consider like this whole swap another build that you can work with. Actually using the crit swap with the, not the crit swap, swap into fadeaway while using the Lucian's Call is probably going to end up being the better way to kill Katagawa. You're able to hit all of his projections at the same time due to the ricochet inside the Lucian's Call. So we'll see how that bad boy works out. I do not have a electricity one, but I'll just melt him down with the fire once we get past the good old shield. So that is going to be it. I updated this skill tree a little bit because I ended up getting a better legendary class mod for the overall running and gunning of the build. It's not that one. It's definitely not that one. Yeah, I ended up getting a better legendary class mod for the overall build and like clearing through everything. And this, of course, was a ice Murphex grenade, but I have that on another character right now because I'm farming Mogwai for good old legendaries. So yeah, this is the updated skill tree with the new artifact. I put together a good old video of the switch and me killing Slaughter Shaft on Mayhem 3 with the True Vault Hunter mode on. So I did all those changes in this build. That's apparently the hardest content, so this build can clear out a whole bunch of stuff. And I'm going to continue putting up videos of kills utilizing the same build and then utilizing the flex options inside the build because we're not limited to these 4 and we're not limited to just running Gamma Burst with this. So it takes a few seconds. You don't have to respec. It doesn't cost you any money. Play around with your options and do what's best for that situation. And that is it. It's your boy Daquan. I'm outie.